and everybody means welcome. So welcome aboard.
Let's work it.
Yeah. I love that. It's nice. Very nice.
Thank you, Warden. 20 guys, that means let's go. So, let's go. Alright, well, Jumbo, everybody, my name is Topher. I'm going to be your safari driver here on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Now, before we get going on to the reserve itself, I do want to make sure that everyone knows to remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Parents, please watch your children. Children, keep an eye on your parents. It is our vacation, too. After all, you never know what can happen on the reserve. We are going to be entering the reserve just up ahead at the Little Terry Forest, home to amazing creatures. A lot of the animals in the forest blend in very well with vegetation. Keep your eyes open. If you have cameras, I recommend having them ready to go, because I cannot stop for every animal. The animals, they don't stop for me. So have your cameras ready. Speaking of stopping for animals, there's actually going to be large portions of the reserve where I cannot stop at all. So have your cameras ready. Alright, so we're just waiting here. Alrighty, take a look above your head. There is that lovely animal spawning guide. We're going to try and see as many of those animals as possible. I'm going to tell you this right now. We're not going to find them all. That guide was created around 20 years ago. Needed to be updated about 19 and a half years ago. So just a wee bit outdated. So anytime now, we'll get clearance out of the reserve. Over on the right, there's that lantern. When it flashes and then remains solid, we're good to go. And okay, let's go see some animals. Alright, so again, we are entering the reserve right here. This is the Little Terry Forest. I've said it a couple times. This is a reserve, a wildlife reserve. It is an area to protect and conserve wildlife. So a lot of the animals we are going to see here are here to be protected. A lot of them are going to be either endangered, critically endangered, threatened, or conservation dependent. Simply meaning that they need help. They're not endangered nor are they threatened, but they still need help from humans to survive. Now, including the animal over here on the right, that is an okapi, striped-legged animal with a brown body. A lot of people think the okapi related to zebra. They're not. They're actually very, very close relatives of giraffe, and they're very, very endangered due to poaching for their beautiful coats. Only animal in the world that looks like that, with a striped legs, brown body, white face. Another animal over here on our left, bongos, known as ghosts of the forest. They blend in extremely well with vegetation, especially at night when they're most active. And they are critically endangered due to deforestation. And both male and females have horns. It's kind of hard to tell the difference between the two. Though the easiest way to tell them apart is the size of their horns. Males typically have larger horns than the females. But again, they are critically endangered due to deforestation, while the okapi are endangered due to poaching. We're going to keep going, see if we can find anything else in the area. Keep your eyes open. A lot of animals at this time of day are going to be resting. They are crepuscular. It means active at sunrise and sunset, so in the early morning and late afternoon. Now, there is a black rhino in the distance. I'm not going to stop because there's another one a little closer to us. Over here on the left as well. Black rhino are critically endangered. There's less than 5,000 black rhino left out in the wild due to poaching for their horns. Their horns are made of the same thing as our fingernail and hair, which is keratin. And a lot of people think rhino horns especially have a medicinal value. Of course, it's not true. If it was, you could eat your own fingernail and hair. Cure the same diseases people care rhino horns can cure. And that really doesn't make any sense. Fingernail and hair comes from your body, so why would your body need more of something it already produces? It doesn't make much sense, and yet still, people think rhino horns are special. Black rhino are nocturnal, or more active at night than during the day, so that's why you found them sleeping. You also saw two very close to each other. It's very uncommon. Black rhino are very, very solitary creatures. They don't really interact with other rhinos very often. The only time they do is at night when they're active. And even then, it doesn't happen very often. Very rare for black rhinos to interact with each other. That's one of the reasons why they're critically endangered. Of course, they are poached, but also because they don't reproduce very quickly. Now we're going to keep going. We're now heading towards the Safi River, home to the most dangerous species in Africa, the Nile hippopotamus. And yes, you heard that correctly. Nile hippos are considered Africa's most dangerous species. They only eat vegetation, but they will defend themselves and attack anything that comes into the area, including humans. And a lot of people don't know this. They walk up to hippos, seeing they're cute, cuddly creatures, and the hippo defend themselves. Keep your eyes open. They are nocturnal animals as well. They're more active at night. So if we do find them, most likely going to find them sleeping. And I do see a hippo moving around a little bit over here on the road. And there's also some pelicans here. These are pinkback pelicans, getting the name for the pinkbacks they show off during mating season. And a group of pelicans called a pod. So a pod of pelican and a bloat of hippos. I see a couple of hippos. There's one walking around under the water, and then one sleeping up ahead with its back out of the water. Now, they go over 4,500 pounds on average, holding their breath for up to 8 minutes at a time under the water. And they are too heavy to swim. They just walk along the bottom of the river. And because they have powerful legs, that's how they get from the bottom of the river to the top to get a breath of air. They'll push off their powerful legs. With their powerful legs, they're actually able to run at speeds of 30 miles an hour on land. Very, very, very fast animals. There's also some crocodile here. Look at this Nile crocodile, largest crocodilians in Africa, getting up 16 feet long on average, weighing around 550 pounds. They typically only eat once a week, but during that one meal, they've been known to eat up to half their weight. That's as much as 270 pounds of meat. And both hippos and crocodile are threatened due to habitat destruction caused by humans. There's more and more people living here now, living closer and closer to water sources, destroying the homes of these animals. But not only destroying homes, they're also destroying the source for animals like hippos, which is vegetation. One hippo eats 80 pounds of food a day. 80 pounds of food a day. It's a lot. So people are coming in, building farms in their homes near the water, destroying that. It's not good. That's why they're here. Let's keep going. We are now heading towards the savanna, or Serengeti grasslands, one of the largest ecosystems on the planet. It stretches for hundreds of miles across the continent, home to millions of animals, including some of the largest animals on the planet: giraffe, elephants, rhinos, and even ostrich, the world's largest bird, all call the savanna their home. Keep your eyes open. I don't see anything immediately, but you never know. Oh, in fact, there are animals way in the distance. Some looks like white-bearded wildebeest over there on our right. White-bearded wildebeest are one of the most populated wild mammals on the planet. Over 1.5 million individual wildebeest migrate every year here in Africa. 1.5 million of them. Some of you guys might have heard of them by a different name, though. Some of you guys might have heard of New or Gnu's, depending on who you talk to and how it's pronounced. That's what the indigenous tribes called them. The wildebeest is the Dutch word used by the Dutch settlers. There's another animal over here on our left. African wild dogs. A lot of people mistake these for hyena. They are not. They're actually very close relatives of fox. Please sit down, sit down. Very close relatives of fox. And they are very, very endangered due to habitat destruction. So that's why they're here. So they are caninids, not canines. Difference. Though they are still somewhat related, canines and canids. They are a different family. African wild dogs are pretty dangerous creatures, probably the second most dangerous species on the reserve. First being hippos, second African wild dogs. The reason why I'm saying that is because of how they hunt. A lot of predators, when you think of a predator, you think of an animal stalking its prey. Well, African wild dogs, they don't really need to do that. They can chase their prey down until it drops from exhaustion. They run at speeds of 30 miles an hour for over 3 miles non-stop. It's not a lot of animals can't do that. They don't have that much endurance and stamina. Some animals can run 30 miles an hour, but not for 3 miles straight. African wild dogs chase their prey down until it can no longer walk and run, and they are relentless. So very, very, very dangerous creatures. Their success rate when hunting is about 9 out of 10 times they're successful. So about 90% success rate. To give you guys an understanding of how high that truly is, some of you guys might have heard of African lions, right? African lions. Their success rate when hunting is 8%. So 1 every 15 times they're successful, roughly. 8% compared to 90%. Very, very big difference. Straight in front of us, there's some springbuck. We saw the white-bearded wildebeest earlier. There's also some Ankole cattle as well. But the springbuck straight in front of us, they're small tan white antelope. They get their name because they can jump up to 9 feet up in the air and 13 feet forward. That is from one side of the truck through where you're sitting to the other side of the truck. And they are conservation dependent. They are here to be protected. And then the Ankole cattle near the white-bearded wildebeest, they're cows, they're domesticated, but they are treated like wild animals. In some places in Africa, they're actually signs of wealth. The more cattle you own, the wealthier you are presumed to be. But again, here on the reserve, they are treated like wild animals. Another animal, look at this. Giraffe. There are 7 unique species of giraffe throughout Africa. There's only one on the reserve. Oh, it looks like they're males. They're gonna neck. That's a sign of dominance between males. So they'll lower their heads and hit each other with their heads and necks. Let's see if they do it. Yep, there you go. Thank you. Sign of dominance. Only the males participate. The females, they don't. It's just the males. And a Maasai giraffe like this, they are here to be protected. They are conservation dependent. They're one of the more populated of the 7 species, but they still need our help. That's because all giraffe species are poached for their coats. They are considered trophy animals around the world. We've talked about poaching now for a couple different animals. For those of you guys that do not know what poaching means, it means illegal hunting. So they're legally hunted for their coats. A lot of animals here on the reserve are poached. That's why a lot of these animals are here. It's a very big problem in Africa. So we've seen okapi, we've seen black rhino, we saw crocodile, we saw now giraffe, and plenty of others. Elephants, rhinos, cheetahs, lions, all animals that are here to be protected because of poaching. Now, over here on our left, there's a couple monkeys underneath the trees. Those are mandrills, largest monkey species in Africa. Male mandrills get up to 100 pounds. Females only around 30 pounds. It's a pretty big size difference between the two. And they're very, very endangered due to habitat destruction. That's why they're here to be protected. Now, I mentioned elephants, that they're poached. We're going to hopefully find elephants in the area. There is a clay deposit up ahead. Elephants like to eat clay for nutrients. So we can find elephants in the area. They travel in herds. Their herds consist of females and juveniles, while males are bachelors, living by themselves or with other males. In fact, look at this. This is a juvenile elephant, nowhere near fully grown, which means its mother's in the area. They get up to 12,000 pounds on average for males and 9,000 pounds on average for females. So again, definitely nowhere near fully grown. They are considered adults at around age 16. They aren't fully grown until around age 20. So we're going to pull up the clay deposits just up ahead. We're going to hopefully find more elephants. The only time the male and females interact usually is to mate, and after mating, the female elephant, they have the longest pregnancy in the world at 22 months, just shy of 2 years. At the end of that very, very long pregnancy, they have a 300-pound baby, and twins are possible. So imagine carrying that much weight around with you towards the end of your pregnancy. It's a lot. So we're going to see if we can find elephants in the area. Keep your eyes open. So I mentioned they're poached. I already mentioned what poaching means. It means illegal hunting. So they're legally hunted. It's for their tusks, made out of ivory. It's the richest of ivory in the world. Is that clay deposit? So elephants have definitely been here recently. In fact, there's a couple elephants over here on our left. Look at that. So they're legally hunted for their tusks. And sadly, African elephants are one of the most poached animals on the planet. Does anyone want to take a guess about how many elephants are poached every single day? So at an average, take a guess. Every day, how many elephants are losing their lives?
1,000.
1,000 elephants every single day. That's a lot. They would probably go extinct within, a year. No, not that many, but it is a lot. It's about 90 elephants a day on average. I already mentioned how long it takes for an elephant to give birth. 2 years, or just shy of 2 years. So one elephant born roughly every 2 years, but they're losing lives at an average of 90 a day. And their population is dropping very, very quickly. So that's why they're here. They're here to be protected. Now there's a bunch of elephants kind of behind us. It's not the greatest view. Now sadly, poaching isn't the only reason why these animals are here. Another very big reason why African elephants are here is habitat destruction caused by coltan mining. Coltan is used in electronics around the world. It's often found here in Africa. Some people are coming in mining for coltan, destroying the holes of these amazing creatures. It's not good, so that's why they're here. Another animal right here. Look at this, flamingos. These are greater flamingo, the largest and lightest shade of pink out of all the flamingo species. When they're born at a grayish white. It takes up to 2 years to get their proper pink color. And a group of flamingos called the flamboyants. So a flamboyance, greater flamingo. And of course, a lot of people know why they turn pink. It's because of what they eat. They eat shrimp. There are more things that they eat than just shrimp, including algae. And all the things that they eat is something called the beta-carotene. The more beta-carotene in their system, the more pink they turn. So that's why greater flamingo have the least amount of pink in their system, or on their feathers. They have the least amount of pink, or beta-carotene, in their diet. Kind of cool. Oh, and look at this guy's a mud wall, a good sign for rhino. Rhino like to roll around the mud. It's kind of like a natural sunscreen that protects their skin from the sun. So we're going to see if we can find rhinos in the area. Now, there are 2 different species of rhino in Africa. We've already seen one, the black rhinoceros. The other one is the white rhinoceros. So those are the only 2 species living in Africa. Does anyone know how many rhino species there are around the world? 10, a little high. 5 unique rhino species around the world. And look, guys, there are rhinos over here on the right. It's not the greatest view, so I'm not really going to stop. But we'll slow down for you guys. But I'm going to hopefully get a better view of them here in a bit. The white rhinoceros, they are the largest of the 5 rhino species. They get up to 5,000 pounds, charging up speeds of around 35 miles an hour. They have terrible, terrible eyesight. Rhino can only see about 10 or 15 feet clearly in front of them. That's why a group of rhinos is called a crash, because when they run, they tend to crash into things. Terrible, terrible eyesight. Now, they are threatened because of poaching. As many as 4 rhino a day lose their lives due to poaching here in Africa. 4 a day. It doesn't sound like a lot, especially compared to 90 a day for elephants, but it's still over 1,000 rhinos every year losing lives due to poaching. It's not good. So that's why they're here. Here to be protected. There is another animal over here on our left, laying down underneath the trees. You can see a cheetah, its head poking up just a little bit, tan body, its head poking up a little bit. Now, cheetah are the world's fastest land animal, of course. A lot of people know this. So underneath the trees, you can see a tan body. That looks like a log, yeah. But they can only run at their top speed for a few seconds at a time. And after their brief exertion, they have to recover for nearly 30 minutes. So anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes of recovery time after running at their top speed for only a few seconds at a time. Kind of interesting. And they're very, very endangered due to habitat destruction. So that's why they're here to be protected. Now, straight in front of us is a kopi. And on our left, as we're turning, a kopi. For those of you guys that aren't fluent in Swahili, kopi means rocks. Group of rocks like that. It's called a kopi. It's a great vantage point. Well, that's fine. I got excited for using this. Kopi is very, very well known here on the reserve. It is home to a pride. That's the lions. Lions. In fact, there's a female where the lion is right there. Now, I know the lions are cool, but there is some rhinos over here on our right as well. The white rhinoceros. Massive creatures. And then the female lion laying down right here. Now, they are nocturnal animals. Not surprised to find them sleeping. They can rest and sleep up to 20 hours a day, lions. Now, of course, that's the males. Females like this are a little bit more active. They're typically going hunting while the males stay back and protect the cubs. And African lions are conservation dependent. They need our help and protection. Oh, look at the male. Look at this. They love to vocalize and roar. The roars have actually been recorded up to 5.5 miles away before. Very loud animals. Now, we might not, I'm guessing we're not going to hear it, but you never know. Normally, again, they're active at night, so they're usually vocalizing at night. Another view of rhinos. Now, also while we were looking at lions, I noticed that there was some bondsbuck over here on our right. Pretty endangered animals. At one point, there was only 17 bondsbuck left in the entire world. Nowadays, there's thousands of them, so you're no longer on the verge of extinction. Those are still pretty endangered due to poaching. There's also ostrich eggs right here. Look at that. Those eggs, when they're laid, they weigh close to 5 pounds. 5 pounds. That's equivalent to 24 chicken eggs. Yeah. 24 chicken eggs to an ostrich egg. And they are eaten around the world. They're a delicacy. The reason why they're able to be eaten around the world is because ostrich are common. They're just here to be part of the ecosystem. They don't really need any help. Once the females lay the eggs, the males are the ones that actually protect the nest. So females lay the eggs and kind of walk away. Males are the protectors of the nest. And they can be pretty dangerous creatures. They weigh up to about 250 pounds. Ostrich, they can run at speeds of 40 miles an hour. But what's pretty scary about them is their talons. They're actually very, very sharp. They can cause serious damage and even fatalities of smaller animals. Very, very dangerous creatures and very territorial, especially the males of their nests. They will defend it. Unfortunately, this is the final part of the reserve. I don't see anything here, so that does mark the end of our safari, but not the end of fun here in Animal Kingdom. There's plenty of things for you guys to do and see. I'm going to be dropping guys off at the Warden's Post. From there, you can make your way to the rest of the park. Right next to the Warden's Post, the Gorilla Falls Trail, where you can find not only gorillas, but meerkats, naked mole rats, fish, birds, amphibians, and even an underwater hippo viewing area. Definitely worth checking out. Before I drop you guys off, I want to talk about these animals one final time. Right in the beginning of the reserve, I mentioned this is a wildlife reserve. These animals are here to be protected. Of course, they're here to be looked at as well. So it's safaris, but they need our help. And there are ways you guys can do that. One of the simplest things you guys can do is to recycle things. Recycling paper products, plastics, anything in between. You can also reduce your waste and reuse what you already have. So reduce, reuse, recycle. 3 very, very simple things you can do inside of your home that will make a difference. I promise you that. Just up ahead is where I have to drop you guys off. But here in Africa, we really don't say goodbye. Instead, we say Kwahari. It's a Swahili phrase that means go well. So Kwahari, guys, go well. Asante Sana, thank you so much for taking your time to come on the reserve with me. Once again, my name is Tomer. If there's any questions you guys have, you're more than welcome to come up and ask. Any wilderness explorers on board, the name of my truck is the Simba 1. Simba 1. You'll be able to pick up your safari badge near the entrance of safaris underneath a white umbrella. Up ahead is where I have to drop you guys off. But here in Africa, don't say goodbye. So, Quality guys, we're going to be getting you guys off here in just a second. Looks like we're going to have to wait a little bit longer, so we can talk about another trail you guys can check out. We talked about the Gorilla Falls Trail. There's also the Maharaja Jungle Trek over in Asia, where you can find Sumatran tigers, Komodo dragons, bats, monkeys, and a bunch of other animals, all native to Asia. So both of those trails are closing at 6:45. The park is closing at 9 o'clock tonight, though I recommend coming back to safaris for our nighttime safaris. We do close at 8:15 tonight, so if you want to ride safaris, make sure you're getting in line before 8:15. There we go, guys. We got clearance out to the dock. So, one final time, quality, go well and enjoy the rest of your day here in Animal Kingdom or wherever your travels may take you.